The GAZ-51 is not just a truck, it's an icon of Soviet engineering. Designed to overcome the challenges of the post-war era, this giant didn't just help rebuild the Soviet Union. It became a fundamental pillar in industry, agriculture, and the military. With over 3 decades of production, the GAZ-51 remains one of the most beloved and respected trucks in the world. But what makes it so special? Why is it considered the most cherished Soviet truck of all time? Today we're going to uncover all the secrets of the GAZ-51, from its features to the reasons behind its impressive longevity. Stay with us until the end. What you'll learn might just surprise you. The origin of the GAZ-51, the need for a tough truck. The story of the GAZ-51 begins during a tumultuous period for the Soviet Union. During World War II, the USSR faced enormous challenges not only on the battlefield, but also on the home front. The war had devastated much of the country's infrastructure and factories, making it critical to have vehicles capable of transporting materials and people through the harsh conditions of the post-war years. The early GAZ trucks, such as the GAZ-MM, had proven useful, but they weren't enough to meet the post-war challenges. It was in this context that in the 1940s, Gorkovsky Avtomobilny Zavod, GAZ, began developing a truck that could handle difficult terrain and extreme conditions. Inspired by the American Studebaker US-6, a truck widely used during World War II, and drawing on its experience building light trucks, GAZ designed the GAZ-51 to be more robust and efficient. The first prototype was built in 1941, but due to the disruptions caused by the war, full-scale production didn't begin until 1946. Technical features of the GAZ-51: simplicity and strength. The GAZ-51 stood out for its mechanical simplicity and impressive reliability, traits that made it one of the most long-lasting trucks in history. Its technical specifications made it suitable for a wide variety of terrains, from paved roads to rough rural paths. Let's take a closer look at the specs and why it became such a popular choice. Engine and power. The GAZ-51 was powered by a 3.5-liter inline-six engine, producing 70 horsepower. That output was enough for a truck of its size and allowed it to reach a top speed of around 70 kilometers per hour, quite decent for its time. Although it ran on gasoline, less efficient compared to diesel engines, its reliability and durability more than made up for it, especially in tough working conditions. Load capacity. This truck could carry up to 2.5 tons on paved roads and slightly less on rough terrain. That versatility made it incredibly useful, whether transporting goods in urban settings or taking on more demanding tasks in agriculture or industry. Traction and suspension. The standard version of the GAZ-51 was a 4x2 truck, which means that only the rear wheels had traction. However, a 4x4 version was produced under the name GAZ-163, which was better suited for extremely tough conditions, such as military terrain, or in areas with deteriorated roads. The truck was equipped with leaf spring suspension, which made it resistant to shocks and vibrations, allowing it to operate on rough roads without the cargo being too affected. This gave it a big advantage compared to other trucks of its time, which were not as well equipped to handle difficult terrain. The production and global success of the GAZ-51. Production of the GAZ-51 began in 1946 and continued until 1975, which allowed it to become an omnipresent truck in the Soviet Union and in many countries of the Soviet bloc. During that time, more than 3.5 million units were manufactured, making the GAZ-51 one of the most produced vehicles in history. Its reliability and toughness made it very popular across a wide range of industries, a success in both the Soviet and foreign markets. In addition to its production in the Soviet Union, the GAZ-51 was manufactured under license in other countries. In China, for example, it was produced under the name Eugene NJ-130. And in Poland, it was known as the Lublin 51. It was also manufactured in North Korea as the Sungri 58. This demonstrates the versatility of the design and how the truck was able to adapt to the needs of different countries, not only in the military sphere but also in civilian use. Uses of the GAZ-51. The GAZ-51 had an enormous variety of applications throughout its service life. Among the most common uses were agricultural transport. It was used to transport crops and agricultural equipment throughout the Soviet Union, especially in rural regions where roads were less accessible. Military use. The GAZ-51 was widely used in the Soviet Army, mainly for transporting supplies, equipment, and personnel. It was also used in infrastructure construction and in military logistics, industry, and construction. The truck was also adapted as a dump truck, fire truck, and ambulance. This versatility made it very popular in various sectors of the economy. Advantages and disadvantages of the GAZ-51. The GAZ-51 had several strengths, but it also had some drawbacks that limited its performance in certain situations. Advantages: reliability. The six-cylinder engine was known for being very reliable and easy to maintain. Durability. The leaf spring suspension and rear-wheel drive gave it great maneuverability on difficult terrain. Versatility. It was used for both civilian and military transport and could be adapted to different configurations, such as a dump truck or fire truck. Availability of spare parts. Due to its mass production, spare parts were easy to find. Disadvantages: gasoline engine. Although it was reliable, the gasoline engine was not as efficient as diesel engines, which led to higher operating costs. 4x2 drive. Although a 4x4 version was produced, most GA-51s were rear-wheel drive, which limited them on more demanding terrain. Limited speed. With a maximum speed of 70 km per hour, it was not suitable for long trips or fast transportation. The legacy of the GAZ-51. Despite being replaced by more modern models like the GAZ-53, the GAZ-51 left a lasting legacy in the history of Soviet and global transportation. Its longevity, adaptability, and ability to operate under harsh conditions made it an essential truck for many industries and a symbol of the Soviet Union's reconstruction era. Today, the GAZ-51 remains a key piece of Soviet nostalgia, with many restored vehicles still used for cargo transport in rural areas or displayed in historical exhibitions. Its resistance to the passage of time is a testament to the quality of Soviet engineering during that period. The GAZ-51, a pillar of Soviet transportation. The GAZ-51 was more than just a work truck. It was a true icon of the Soviet era. With its combination of reliability, load capacity, and versatility, it left an indelible mark on global transportation. Although it may be considered obsolete today, it is still fondly remembered by those who used it in its time, and its legacy endures both in civilian life and military history. This truck is a clear example of how mechanical simplicity and toughness can allow a vehicle to survive for decades, becoming an integral part of a nation's everyday life.